Well, Biddy, we find ourselves back here in the underground cities in Cappadocia, and there are several layers, as we have seen from last week. You know, we asked our guide Mamet about how many people live down here, and he said between 16 to 20,000 people.
Down in those caves, underground. Of course,
whoa, that's something, isn't it?
Oh, I can't imagine how it would be to you know, it'd be so crowded and no
You
privacy.
would think so, yeah.
Oh, my.
But, you know, if it's for survival, I guess you do just about anything, you know.
That's right.
So anyway, we're going to continue on as we go to these various rooms that are here, and some places you can stand up. Anyway, Mamet's going to talk a little bit now about the general population in the whole area around this site.
Populations of 150, 200,000 people, then it doesn't sound very great, very big.
We have a comment. Mary went to the underground gym. Classmates.
This was really a workout. It truly was. But we were all in pretty good shape and came through just in fine colors. Myself, I'm at the end of it. But it was great.
It was a lot of fun. Let's find out exactly where we are.
This is the second floor. The sign says kitchen. Even without the sign, you can easily understand. Look at the ceiling. It's all dark. So you have the fire that you bring from the nearby mountains. And then you have these fireplaces back there, behind you, okay, where you have the fire. And parallel to this fan, you have storage areas for the foodstuffs down there. So you just bring the food into the kitchen. And there are also some of the shafts, of course, to let the smoke out. And it's not one, it is too many, so not much smoke goes out through one chimney. Otherwise it's very easy to find out. Siz geçmek istiyorsanız öne buyurun, geçebilirsiniz. Just I think they just want to hurry up, so if they want to go out, they can go out. Just from behind there. Yeah. İsterseniz arkamızdan buyurun geç. Also the same thing through of the chimneys for the kitchen. So if you have some smoke coming out and somebody up there notices that, covers it with a lid, still no problem because you have the other outlet. So people will never get poisoned because of smoke or anything like that over here.
Carbon monoxide.
No. Then the other thing over here is this hard piece of rock, the lava. Now you see the students walk by. It is found over here. I said to you, volcanic gets eroded to make their spices. If this is a kitchen, you're going to be using it not like a grinding stone, but to grind, to pound and grind some of the herbs and spices and make your spices.
Like the Indians in California buying acorns.
And coming up this way, as you come in, you just mention this. Here, these tiny holes are the communication holes, telephones of the past, to call out to each other.
Isn't it?
Food is ready, get up, or come over here, etc. We have so many of them. These are the communication holes. Please pass this to the people coming from here.
Communication holes. Pass it on to here then. Pass it on.
I think that's quite clever. That's a early day telephone, huh?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, you couldn't have any secrets, could you?
Yeah, it'd be a big party line, wouldn't it?
Don't ever tell anybody on that line what you want to say.
Well, this shows you just how twisty and curvy and how many little nicks and knacks and little rooms that there are here.
I love that. Nicks and knacks.
Nicks and knacks,
huh?
yeah, knick-knacks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Fortunately, they had grates that were covering a lot of the open holes there, so.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Got that one.
I'm
okay.
glad you did get it. Congratulations.
But you can see here, it's
yeah.
and it wasn't the easiest job. I mean, carrying a camera, because I always got to use two hands a lot of times with this.
Excuses.
Right.
Oh my! I know it really was tough because we were having a little bit of difficulty in some of those areas, and you not only had to take care of yourself, but you had to worry about the camera and the angle and all of the rest of it. Oh, you're wonderful,
weird
Marv.
weird angles. Well, now we're working our way back up. We went way down, and now we're working back up. So let's find out exactly where we are.
We're up in the first floor now. And when you take the tunnel underneath this room, You see the group coming from behind is turning right because the arrow says turn right and out to the exit. This is my bedroom.
I knew that was a bedroom.
Yeah, which is hidden. And I love this bedroom because whoever stayed over here during that escape period, to hide, he must have put a lot of effort and thoughts, in creating a nice bedroom over here, because there are quite a number of details that I want to bring to your attention.
Oh.
Number one, look at these holes over here. One here, on the ceiling, on the ceiling. On the ceiling. Yeah. And another one back there.
For hanging your pants.
To suspend, to hang something, or to suspend a hammock. There is one over here on this wall, the corresponding one on this side. Another one here, and then below this light here. So sometimes I am inclined to think, I wonder if they had 2 or 3 children over here to have a hammock. This is one. I would put it for Christians. Then, around this room, look at these tiny holes in such a nice order, and then more over that. So in case of long escape and hideout, then at least they could have sufficient jars for like oil, wine, water, etc. Back there, 2 of these niches and 2 more on the right hand side, like the Japanese style futon, beds or mattresses. 2 of them used for this purpose, the other 2 for their maybe blankets, clothes and things like that, like a cupboard. Storage. See? 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. Look at the tiny holes for oil lamps and candles. See how dark it is by burning the candles.
It's hanging on a wall.
It's this hole.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw that.
And not finished yet. The most interesting one is this one. I find the room next door is the church where we started our journey to the underground city. So we came down that way. That's the church, and the apse was facing us as we entered the church. So for this room, absolutely in that direction. Here is this place. This is the place for the book. For the Bible.
The book?
Yes. To put the book, to worship or to pray over here. Yeah, for your personal prayers and whatever. So a lot of consideration has been put into practice in creating this room.
Well, it must have been quite a bedroom. I didn't understand. Was that right next to the church? I mean, that's where they kept the Bible, right?
It sounded like it, didn't it? Yeah. I really laugh at Deanna when she's coming up the steps and she sees you there with the camera.
That's
You know,
coming
oh
up here in
God,
a
she
minute.
just about dies.
Yeah, this is the stone that you can see that would cover the entrance there in case the invaders were coming. There's
There she
Deanna
comes
there.
because she's so camera shy, and she's.
And yet she takes a lot of pictures.
Oh, she herself does. Look at her! Look at her! Don't you take me?
Anyway, well, you know, when you're crawling around the rocks like that, it's not the most flattering thing
No,
for everybody,
of
but that's how
course
it is.
not.
Now, this is the outside, and
I think that was
as soon
a
as we
very
get-
sharp statement you made. That
What,
was
that
the
was
outside.
outside?
Yeah, how did you figure that out?
I saw sunlight,
Oh,
and I saw rugs for sale, and a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of other things too.
Isn't it amazing how they keep those rugs out in all kinds of weather
Yeah.
and they don't fade?
Nope, it's really
It's
it
because
really
they're
is
good
something.
rugs. Yes.
Well, you know, this area covered miles and miles, and we traveled quite some distances to get to these various areas where we're going. And we're going to come upon a village here that has both the old and the new.
In the foreground, which is the southern part, of course, is the new homes made either from the local stone, this brown color stone of the area, which keeps the temperature quite firm and constant inside, cool in summer against outside temperature, pretty warm in winter, especially when you just have a stone in the center of the living room. You just open up the rooms and all the rooms are like centrally heated. I'm talking about this brown color of stone on the right hand side and also on the left hand side. Anywhere you go, you see this stone. That's typical of Cappadocia. They quarry this from the nearby mountains. So even in present day life, you know, this helps a lot to keep inside warm or cool seasonally. So the southern part is the new homes for the people. The northern part, where you see the sheer cliff on the right and in the front of the bus, below that area is the previous rock dwellings that were used by the people until recently, like 30, 35, 40 years ago. Call it Old Town and New Town if you want to, of Göre. And we're going to stop the bus, of course, at the gasoline station. Right from there, you can take a couple of nice shots if you're interested. You get off the bus and see these beautiful remains of the rock dwellings.
Biddy, did you ever expect to see so much of this? I mean, I thought there was just maybe a little bit of it, but we went, I mean, we went all day long, and there was so much of this.
I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. These are where people lived.
Carved it right out of the stone.
Yes, yes.
And as we get a little further down in one of the valleys later on in the show, you'll see even more fantastic as they carved them in these homes and storage areas in really wild-looking mountains. I mean, really crazy shape type of things.
It makes you almost ashamed to complain about where you live sometimes yourselves.
Yeah.
You know, say, "Oh, I wish I had a new refrigerator or something," and then you think about how these people lived in those days.
Now this was really impressive, I thought, and this was just, as we say, this was just one little stop on the way. But as he said, those places were vacated, and the people now have moved into new housing.
Yeah, we were going to stay in that hotel right there.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it was
that was
closed.
a hotel. Yeah, okay. No thanks. I think we'll just go a little
Well, it
further
was
on down the road.
air-conditioned.
This is the town of Nevşehir, literally means new town. There is the fortress, a small fort at the top of the hill to your left, from Selçuk times of 13th century. The slim minarets over there are belonging to the mosques. It's pretty nice actually, right? The contrast of the old on the left to the new on the right. Each floor is, apartments. It's one or two floors or one or two flats on each floor. So they are either rented or purchased by the people. There are different ways of constructing homes, of course. Either a contractor or a construction company buys and develops. There is a developer. Or sometimes people form cooperative and they just elect a few people, of course. So they see for the expenses, they have monthly installments, they get a contractor to build for them. Or you are the landowner, you've got the money, then you do it all yourself. If you are a professional in the field, if not, get the construction company to build for you, then you start selling out. The group of buildings on the right-hand side is related to government. You have the governor's office over here, the mayor's office, the police station, the headquarters, Atatürk on horse again, where it says, like the one on the right hand side is the government building, the governor's office here, Valilik, then the one to the left of it is the police station, Emniyet, and behind it is the Justice Palace, they call it, which means courthouse.
Well, I think we better go down the road and take a little break to buy something, huh?
Oh, it's
been a while,
that time. But isn't that a tremendous contrast between what we saw up in the cliffs and then the modern things?
That's
right.
Right.
Yeah, if we can't shop, what's the sense of going?
Well, you've got to bring some souvenirs
now,
back.
there's the greatest bargainer in the world, George.
I'm
telling you, he goes out and scouts for his wife, you know, to get the best price.
He does. He gets
and
good
then we
bargains,
all
that's for
benefit
sure.
from
Right,
it.
yeah.
So,
we'll take George as our chief bargainer anytime. And as you can see here, this is our colorful bus. It was very nice and comfortable.
It was a good bus.
Yeah, had doors on either end of it. And so we're going to go now into this little factory and see the things that they have here.
With industrial diamond, and we use water. And after we take these small part sealers. I will show how we can cut it.
Okay.
Yes, this is natural onyx, an egg, for example. And after we pass the third machine, we give it polish, and with this material chrome oxide, it just give polish, not colors. Okay.
Well, he made pretty fast work of that, and they certainly do nice work. Look at
Isn't
these.
that beautiful?
Yeah, this is the showroom there. There's just some very, very beautiful items that they have. It
I
really
must
is.
admit, I wasn't real thrilled with the drill. I was thinking I was in the dentist chair, and it brought back memories that I didn't like.
That's right. You and the dentist, you
don't,
don't get along too well,
Well,
do
we
you?
get personally. He's a lovely man. I
Right.
just don't like what he does.
Or the method, huh?
The method,
Well, you
that's
can see
right.
there are a lot of beautiful things here in this showroom, and this little factory was just right out beside the road, and several of us picked up a lot of nice things here. And there was also other things in another showroom. They had two of them there. There's also some jewelry that they had too. So after we made our little stop here to see what we're going to buy, we're going to get back on the bus, and then we'll go on down the road because there's so much more to see.
In the foreground, where you see the sun is reflecting beautifully, we have Pigeon Valley. There are tiny coves or holes for the pigeons. They are not natural, they are all man-made. The man made them all like that, so that in the darkness at night, the pigeons could go in to sleep. And then the next morning, what do they do with it? No, no, no. Pigeons are sacred animals representing peace over here. What do they do with the holes? In the morning, when the pigeons fly away, men go into these holes, coves, and what do they collect? Eggs is one thing. What else? The droppings, of course. The dirt. And like you can see here on the walls on the right hand side, those tiny holes over there. So they collect them all, and in the valley you have small plains or small fields, so they use them as fertilizers. We have chemical fertilizers now, but of course there was nothing like that. So occasionally you still see some pigeons over here belonging to this shop in the front. And of course it used to be more of the pigeons, and you can still see them flying here and there. Over the Pigeon Valley, to your right a little back, you can see the pinnacle, the top of the mountain, but you will have a better shot of this.
Well, not only the pigeons lived here, but you could see there were people that were either living there or had lived there, or some of this area. There's a pigeon up there, way up high.
Well, if there was any bird around, you're going to find
Oh
it.
yeah, no, I saw pigeons flying there. That was incredible. He mentioned. I don't know if I got many shots of it at all, but and see now these,
Yeah.
whether these were houses or whether they were storerooms, I'm not quite sure. But we see lots and lots of this now in this particular area
Look at that.
in Pigeon Valley, and as we continue on down the road from here, it was really something. I
Amen.
really wanted to see this because I'd seen it in the
Well,
pictures.
we've
You
been
know.
thinking about Turkey for a long time, and
Yeah.
it's certainly been worth it, hasn't
Oh,
it?
no
Oh,
kidding, I'll tell you.
man.
So let's go on down the road and we'll see some more.
This is Uchisar, the village. We drive through the village. To the other side of this panoramic spot, you will see some of these fine rock cones without hats or without any heads on them, because they're all tumbled down now. And then there is another valley there, which is sort of being or getting eroded slowly. So it will be a good example for you to see both of them, you know, next to each other. So you can see the completed ones, the eroded ones, except no cones on them.
Well, as we said earlier, there are a lot of stops that we're going to make on our trip on today's adventure, and here's another one. Now, see, these formations look a little bit different, of course, as you can see, but boy, you know, I wonder.
Don't wonder.
No, I wonder where the
no.
entrance was. I
Don't
keep
ever do
thinking,
that.
where's the ladder? Where's
Well,
the ladder?
maybe they did like they did the Indians did, you know, in Arizona, where they laid down they had the rope ladders going down. Or then,
Might have been.
but then you have to realize that there wasn't this erosion then, so there was dirt
some of
and
this
stuff
erosion
to be
because,
able to walk on.
You know, because this really goes back for centuries.
Yeah, I
mean,
know,
these
but-
were first discovered by the Hittites, and then the Persians used them, the Macedonians, and the Byzantinians used them as well. You know,
Yeah,
so.
but sure they used them, but this erosion just didn't happen overnight.
Oh, no,
so
centuries and
this
centuries,
is what I'm
yeah.
saying. So maybe when they first moved in, there was dirt.
I don't know.
Some had to be
I,
there.
I wasn't there, so I couldn't tell you. Well, of course, we have to have a little recreation here too. Well, there's
there's
Ben
Ben.
needs a ladder to get off the.
Well,
that's where the ladder is. That's where the ladder is. That's what
Oh
we're
my
looking
gosh,
for.
that reminds me, I forgot to send him a letter thanking him for doing that. But they really had fun riding the camel.
yeah.
You know, that kind of all adds to the
This camel
enjoyment.
wants to talk to you, Betty.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You remember the camel that time that kissed Monsignor Hargendiggy when we were in the
Holy
Holy Land?
I
Yeah.
sure do.
Look at them, mean looking thing. And they are mean. They'll spit on you.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, I
Roland's
do.
having a good time up there,
Yeah,
though, right?
We enjoyed that. We
Yeah.
did. We went around a couple of times with Roland. He didn't like the camel the first time.
Roland's getting prepared. He's going to make sure that he's got some money to pay the guy before he goes anywhere on it.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Nope.
You want him to turn the camel on you? I
No,
wouldn't think
thank you.
so.
No, thank you. I don't
But
think
just
so
think
at
of the
all.
bucks those people make for this.
Yeah,
Because
well,
I
it's
think,
good, you know.
What they do? Give them
It's
$1 or $2?
I don't know. I
something
didn't
like
ride a
that.
camel there.
Why
I didn't
not?
ri- Oh, I've ridden a camel before, so I mean,
Well,
you know.
better to
once-
ride one than
Yeah,
smoke one.
don't you? Don't you remember when you and I rode one at the
Egypt?
pyramids in
Yes,
Egypt? Yeah.
Yes, I
And
do.
then you tried to bargain with the guy before he would let us off the thing. I don't know. Oh, that's another show altogether. Anyway, here we are back at these. It looks like a little gnome village.
Yeah, it looks
doesn't
like
it,
they
huh?
have scales on it, like some kind of a disease. See how all the little black markings or little scab, you'll scratch it off maybe?
That's the age marks, I
That's
think.
what it is?
That's a rock's age marks. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's the part that
No,
just didn't
I
erode.
don't know. I don't know. But you can see that, and probably some of these facial parts of this may have come off too. Although it looks like there's still doors there, but
Yeah,
it said that earlier that some of it, of course, would have eroded off, and then it would be open up, like what we saw earlier back down the
Right.
road. You know.
Marv, this to me looks like a Disney creation. You know that you. Well, it does. It just doesn't look real, but we know
It doesn't look
is.
real. I know.
But it does look like something that you'd go down to Disneyland and go through the caves or something in Turkey.
Well, I think that's one of the exciting things about it, Joan, and one of the exciting things about travel, of course, too, is you keep discovering things that you have never ever seen before. I mean, now
Can't visualize.
well, that's
No.
just it. And the thing is that all I saw were pictures of this before. When you say, "Hey, why don't we go to Turkey?" And I thought, when I saw this, I said, "Boy, oh boy!" We saw some books with this, and I
Set
thought,
the date.
set the date. This is something that I want to see in person, you know. So, anyway, here we are, and it is impressive. I will say, it is very impressive. And you think, and there are many areas, and we just saw a few of these areas, but
Well, each place that we go has a terrain that's different and exciting, and
Turkey was especially that way, because later on we'll get over onto the west coast of Turkey, and that's so totally different than this middle part, Cappadocia, which is sort of in the center of the country. But I thought this was pretty magnificent.
Yeah, even
Pretty
the name
magnificent.
Cappadocia has some kind of a glamour connected with it. I think it's probably because of Paul's letters to the Cappadocians that at least ring a bell with me.
Did he write to those folks too?
He sure did. That's where that ladder came from.
That's where the ladder to okay.
ladder,
Paul's
St. Paul
ladder
to
to Yeah. Okay. How long did you stand out in the sun that day?
Not long enough.
Well, see, now you could have rent an apartment there, probably very reasonable.
You think so?
Reasonably,
Wait,
I
would you
should
like
say.
to move over there, Marv, and retire and?
Well, I don't know.
Hardly.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a
No.
while. Anyway, but tell you, it is really exciting to see this, and we have more of this to see as we go on some of our other shows as well. In fact, when we get into some of the areas that are decorated as far as the churches are concerned, and this, which is still in another area. Now, this sort of reminded me of 3 little teepees out there, built of rock.
3 little teepees. Where
Three
did you
little
ever
teepees.
see 3 little teepees?
Well, I don't know, but that's what it reminded me of. Now, here's some of the mountain that is being eroded now, as we can see. So, and that rock, of course, is very soft. So it's easy to carve, and we're going to see that in today's program too. That they're still doing that as we speak today. But let's join Mehmet, our guide, as we go down the road a little bit further.
Is very nice, very panoramic, because this time you look down from above, you look down into the valley, you see quite a number of these cones over there again, the chimneys. This is called the Valley of the Swords, because each and every one is in the shape of a sword, apparently, for the local people. That's how they interpreted it, and you will have a chance to see some of them. This we call the Valley of Swords, and from there you have a chance to see the village where local people live, because they used to live in the Göreme Valley originally. They are moved out. The Göreme Valley of the churches we will do after lunch, otherwise it's going to be too tiring for you. Then we have the Grand Canyon on your left now, so you have a chance to see this. The mountain, the highest mountain of Cappadocia, Mount Argeus or Ergias, is best seen from the top of this valley, and looking on the western side you can see this castle. Now there is another view of the castle, so it's a good location, plus more shops for you. The effect of erosion is everywhere. When it is dry and no rain, it is mostly colored in pink. You see, the pink color is the dominant one. Once you have rain, as soon as rain comes down, the color changes to brown. This yellowish pinkish color becomes darker and it becomes brown. So from here, looking down all the way to the left and ahead, the barren mountain, and then in the lower part is the river, Red River, and the town of Avanos. Gradually we are going in that direction.
And of course, we're looking down at part of what we call the Turkish Grand Canyon here. Sorry, the road's still a little bit bumpy. I hope you're not watching this on a projection set. And there, of course, is the mount that he spoke about, too. And we're going to see more exciting things on next week's show. There's a lot to see in this area, and it is very exciting. But before we go, if you're interested in any of the trips that we have, give Betty a call at
488-7443.
And that's all the time we have this adventure. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.